gentlemen, welcome to One on One on the Bottom Line podcast, a brand new segment for the show. I'm Jimmy Finizzi. I hope that you're doing well. So basically the gist for this new segment is I personally will be going one-on-one with various guests from the sports world, the entertainment world, the music world, the pageant world even, you name it. It will be right here exclusively for one-on-one interviews with some pretty amazing people. And I already have quite a few guests lined up for this segment. And the first one being featured on this episode today is none other than Audra Miller of First to 11 and Concrete Castles. She personally does not need any introduction, but she's getting one anyway in a little bit. But I'm super excited to have her on. We're going to be talking about how her career got started, who inspired her to start singing, what it means to her to be a front woman in a rock group where, let's face it, there aren't many female-fronted rock groups in today's era. And we're going to be having a little bit of fun. We may even bring up some Marvel discussion since we are both huge Marvel fans. But before we get started, make sure you hit that like button and drop a comment down below if you're watching on YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss an episode. And subscribe on all audio platforms as well. Just include Jimmy when searching for this podcast. So with that being said, please sit back, relax, and enjoy the premiere of One on One on the Bottom Line podcast with Audra Miller of First to 11 and Concrete Castles. Enjoy. Welcome back to the premiere of One on One on the Bottom Line podcast. Once again, I am Jimmy Finizzi. I hope that you are doing well. And I personally do not think that this young woman needs an introduction anymore, considering the fact that she's been on the show one too many times. But you know what? She's going to get a little bit of one anyway. If you don't know who she is by now, she is the lead singer of First to 11 and Concrete Castles. And yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know about this one. But no, seriously, she is a extremely talented musician. She's been on the podcast numerous times. They've been nothing but supportive to us. And we're very thankful that she is one of the first people on this brand new segment. Ladies and gentlemen, we are proud to have back on Audra Miller. Audra, first and foremost, welcome back. How the heck are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing good. I'm so excited to be back on the new segment of the podcast. I know it was so funny. I was like, wow, we have been on here a lot. And then I was like, yeah, but this is like a new part of it. So yeah. It's like, this is something else.
Yeah, this is something entirely new. But no, seriously, we're really excited to have you back. So let's not waste any more time here and get started. So first and foremost, I want to ask you this. I'm always fascinated to know how people originated their careers. So with that being said, how did your singing career first come about? Like, who inspired you to start singing? Was there a song in particular that made you want to start singing? Like, how did your whole career come about?
So I started singing when I was like 8 years old. Like actually singing. Like that's when I started like taking voice lessons and like singing out in like public and stuff. But before that, I think a lot of it actually weirdly came from like just kind of my like environment when I was little. So we constantly, as people who like have followed us for a long time know, like I constantly was watching Disney movies when I was little and like always watching like Annie for some reason. That's a weird one. And I would just sing.
Nothing wrong with Annie. I don't mean to cut you off. I apologize, but there's nothing wrong with watching Annie.
Yeah, that was my very first musical I was in too, was Annie.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, but I just would sing along to like all of those songs, and I remember my parents just being like, how are we going to tell her that she is like not good at singing? Like, how are we going to do this?
There you go.
And I just like grew into my voice, I guess. And once I turned 8, I started singing karaoke, just at like a bar that was like by my house. Like we'd go for dinner and I'd stay and sing karaoke. And my parents were like seeing people watch me and they were just like, wait a second, we have to like do something with this. And nobody in my family sings. So they were just like, what do we do? Like, what are we supposed to do with this?
Right.
So we were just like, we searched around town to find like a vocal instructor. And I ended up taking lessons for like a few years, did musicals at my school. And they were fun, but it just like wasn't my thing. And then that's when I ended up seeing First 11 with like all of the old members and their old singer. I saw them playing out somewhere, and
Right.
there was like a sign up for the rock school, and my parents were like, oh, we should like look at that. And I ended up signing up for the rock school and then being put into First 11. And that's kind of how it all started.
Yeah, we'll definitely get more into that in a little bit. But little known factoid for those that are not aware, and Audra, you don't even know this. My alma mater, Monmouth University, right here in West Long Branch, New Jersey, parts of Annie were actually filmed there at Woodrow Wilson Hall in the old staircase there.
No way.
Yeah, no, I'm serious.
So cool.
Back in the 80s, it used to be filmed there. Small world, ain't it?
Yeah, I was obsessed with that. So that is really cool.
Yeah, I watched it with my sister when I was
yeah.
I figured, why not? But
I used to watch that all the time.
Yeah, there you go. But you mentioned karaoke earlier. That kind of wanted me to bring you to some of your earlier performances, like when you first started to perform in front of people. I think I recall the first time you performed. I forget what it was. It was either you performing the national anthem somewhere or was at that karaoke bar. But regardless, how did it feel for you? Like, what was going through your mind as a very young, you're still young, don't get me wrong, but a very younger version of Audra? What was she thinking getting up there for the first time performing in front of people? What were you thinking at the time?
I was so scared. I remember like trying to like work myself up to singing there, because we would go to this like restaurant bar, like eat all the time. Like it's so close to us. I mean, I live in the middle of nowhere. There's not really a lot of things around here. So we would always go there, and we'd always like go watch the karaoke. And I was like, man, that looks so fun. Like, I don't know though. And I remember one night we went and I was just like, I'm going to sing tonight. Like tonight is the night I'm going to do it. This was like 8-year-old me. I was just like, you're going to sing at this karaoke night. And I think the hardest part for me was trying to decide what song to sing, because, when you go to karaoke, they have those big giant books of like songs. And every time we'd go, I'd look through like the whole book and I'd just be like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I was so like indecisive. So I ended up singing Rolling in the Deep. And that was like the first song I ever sang in front of anybody. And I was so scared, and I'm pretty sure I just stood like completely still, like white knuckle, like gripping onto the microphone, like so scared. And then once I got done, I was just like, that's it. I'm not doing any more tonight. Like,
no more. I'm done. Get me out of here.
That was my one, and then I'm done for today.
Oh my gosh. Look, hey, I would be exactly in your shoes, because you will never, ever catch me on stage doing karaoke, because A, I'm a terrible singer to begin with, and B, I am an extremely, extremely shy person when it comes to that type of stuff. So you will never, ever catch me on there. But that bar, though, it didn't have like one of those like jukeboxes or anything, or to like pick a song, right?
No. It was all just like that little karaoke binder. And I was like,
okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was thinking one of those like old school jukeboxes that you'd find at like a diner or something that had like one of those like mini songbooks. You insert a quarter, there you go, that's your song.
No, it was literally just a binder of like thousands and thousands of songs that you could just flip through to like find. Yeah.
Probably makes it easier for everybody anyway, but regardless. So, is there a specific music artist that inspired you to start singing?
I don't know if it was so much a specific artist, but there definitely were like a few that I listened to when I was younger. One of them being Adele. I listened to, Rolling in the Deep. I mostly just listened to everything that was on the radio. So it was like Rolling in the Deep, Adele, a ton of like Carrie Underwood. And then like, weirdly enough, I think it was just because it was on the radio. Like when I was growing up, I was probably like 2006 or 7 or something. It was like the Fergie songs were like super popular. So I always heard those, and those were like the ones that I would like sing along to in the car. But I don't know if it was like really a specific artist that kind of like inspired me to do it, or if I was just like, I like singing, why don't I just try and actually sing, Because I would just sing along to anything that was
Right.
on the radio. I would just learn every single song and just sing it. So it was
Right.
mostly just like the whole idea of singing. I was like, this seems like fun. I should just do it.
I know you are a huge, huge fan of Steven Tyler. He's your all-time favorite vocalist. A, have you seen Aerosmith live? And B, favorite Aerosmith song of all time?
I have never seen Aerosmith live, and it makes
Oh
me
my
so
god,
sad.
they are amazing.
I know.
I've only seen them once. That was back in like, oh my gosh, I think it was like 11 years ago already was when I've seen them. It's crazy,
Yeah,
but
I'm so
they're amazing.
jealous.
Steven Tyler still got it, man.
He does. He literally does. He's like the best, probably one of the best vocalists ever. That was actually a band that I listened to a lot too while I was growing up because it's my dad's favorite band. So we
Okay.
had all of like the Aerosmith CDs like when I was little, and we would just listen to like every single CD. But I think my favorite song ever by them is Dream On. So when we covered that, I was like so excited. But also Love in an Elevator. I used to listen to that song all the
Oh
time.
man,
I love that
that's
song.
my all-time favorite right
Yeah,
there.
that one and then Sweet Emotion. Those are probably my top three.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah,
Nah, it's not easy to come up with a top anything of
I
Aerosmith songs.
know.
There's like it's like a whole big catalog. Like, how can you pick from just like
I know.
5, 10 songs?
I
It's
was
like it's
obsessed
crazy.
with them. Obsessed. I still am.
I mean, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But
They
no,
are
I
so
think
good.
I think I think I have like maybe one. I have to dig around to find it somewhere in my house, but I think I have like one Aerosmith record. I forget exactly which one it is, but I gotta dig it up somewhere. But I have like,
I literally think I have like the CD still.
oh
Like
wow,
actually like in my I think it wait, I'm not actually joking with you. I'm pretty sure they're in this drawer right next to me,
oh my
unopened.
gosh.
Let me see if I can pull them out because I literally can see them in there. I kept them because I was
Oh
like, I
wow.
want unopened.
Oh, are you kidding me? Yo, no way.
No
That's
joke,
sick.
like literally in the wrapping. So
That is awesome. If you're not watching on YouTube, I encourage you go click on the YouTube link. I
for real,
promise you,
these have been
it's
in
a
there.
real treat.
I have no clue how long these have been in there, and I don't like we don't have a CD player.
Wow, that.
So
Yeah.
and I don't even have them in my car, but yeah, I have these still. I just
Wow.
keep them because it's what I listened to when I grew up. So I just kept them forever and I was like, man, these are gonna be cool one day. So I just kept them in the wrapping and I just still have them in my drawer.
That's a very good collectible considering the
Yeah.
fact that CD players have become obsolete
I
nowadays,
know.
but what do I know?
You can't even use them.
Yeah, nobody does. I mean, the car that I have still has a CD player, so I pop in one of your CDs every now and
Yeah,
then.
every
But
once in a while, yeah.
that's pretty much it. That's
I
pretty
don't
much all
even
the
think my
CDs I
car
listen to.
has a CD player, to be honest. I don't think it
I'm
does.
sorry, I cut you off. What'd you say?
Oh no, you're good. I just said I don't even think my car has a CD player.
Oh man. Well, mine's a 2008, so CD players were still a thing back then. But anyway, we're getting sidetracked here. So let's go into band performances here. So when you first heard of First to 11 was obviously through the rock school and through Ryan, obviously. And once you got in, when their original lead singer, I think Catherine was the original lead singer, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah. There was one before her, but he wasn't in the band for very long. He just kind of popped in, did a few things, and then
yeah, because if I remember correctly, I think Matt is like the only original member of the entire thing.
Yep.
Because I know Ryan's been with you guys since the beginning, but as far as like actual members, Matt's the OG.
Yeah,
so he's been around through everything.
Yeah, technically Ryan has been there, but he hasn't been a member of the band since the beginning. So
right.
Matt's the only one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, man, crazy. Matt's great though. We all love him for obvious reasons. But anyway, so going back to your originating performances with the band, if I recall correctly, the first time that you guys were on this show, you had said that you had learned the wrong song. I'm sorry. I still laugh at that every time I listen back to it.
So funny.
What was the song that you were trying to learn when you were trying to go up there?
So I think we played like 5 songs at my first show. We played Rolling in the Deep, Love Story by Taylor Swift, Don't Stop Believing, and then the other one, which was Hysteria by Muse. But the first thing that pops up when you search Hysteria is the Hysteria by Def Leppard, not by Muse.
Oh no.
And since I'd only been to one practice before our first show, like I just showed up to the first practice and they were like, we have a show at like the Sloppy Duck, which is just like a bar downtown, like next week. And I was like, okay. And they were like, here's the songs, like we won't do that many. The 5th song was Sweet Child of Mine, but I didn't have time to learn it, like the whole entire thing. So they had Trevor, who was like shooting all of like our first 11 videos. He sang Sweet Child of Mine that day. But yeah, I learned the wrong Hysteria because I don't think we ever specified like which artist it was. And I just was like, search like Hysteria. And that was the first one. And I was like, it's got to be this one, right? Like, why would we do another one? And it was not that one. And I showed up to the show and they were like, it's this one. And I was like, guess I got to go learn it in the car. Like, so I already was like so scared because it was the first show. And then that happened. And I was like, this is the worst day ever.
But now, just for clarification, was it Hysteria by Def Leppard or by Muse that you eventually sang?
By Muse. Hysteria
it was by Muse. Okay.
Yep.
But you learned the one by Def Leppard by mistake.
Correct.
Okay. Just so we're clear, that's what the song was. Because I remember when you shared that for the first time. When you came on for the first time, I was like, oh my god, if that was me, I would just quit. I would just go home. I'm done.
I was so scared. And I was so like young at the time. I didn't even have like a phone. So like I couldn't like look up the words and like hold them up. I had to like print off like the words from like a computer and like hold a piece of paper to like sing the song because I had no other way to like look up the words to the song. It was so scary.
They didn't have one of those like teleprompters where you could just look at the screen behind people?
Nope.
Oh
Never.
My gosh. That's brutal. Oh my gosh. But ever since then, obviously you've become more comfortable with performing in front of people. I mean, obviously look at the success you guys have garnered over the years. But what would you tell that younger version of yourself if you were to see her for the first time going on that stage? What would you tell her?
That it doesn't matter as much as you think it does. I remember just like being there and just being like, this is it. This is the biggest and most important thing in my life. Like, and it was in the moment, but looking back on it, I definitely didn't have to be as like stressed out and like worried. Like I still was a good singer. I still was like excited to like be on stage and like be performing at the first show. And I wish that I would have just been like, this is fun, instead of being like so scared that I was gonna like mess something up, because it didn't matter. Even if I messed something up, everybody was still gonna be like, yay, like good job, you know what I mean? Because it was the first show. So I think I would just say like enjoy it more. Like there's no reason to be so worked up over something that was probably like one of the most like exciting things ever.
There you go. Now, transitioning over to the First to 11 era, the now official First to 11 era. By the way, before that, for those that don't know, M4 was the other original name before First to 11. And by the way, if you're curious, their original All Eyes on Us is still on YouTube if you want to go check it out for yourself. And I promise you, it is a good song, but like, damn.
Isn't it funny? We look so little in that.
It's still, and you said that there's 2 songs still up there on the YouTube channel?
I think there's 2 on the M4 YouTube channel.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So if you're curious, go search M4 on YouTube and you'll see what we're talking about. But transitioning from M4 to First to 11, you guys started the First to 11 channel, gosh, I think like 6 years ago already. I mean, which is absolutely insane. And now look at all of the success that you guys have garnered. Over 1.5 million subscribers now, and congratulations on that once again. Looking back at your entire career with First to 11 so far, what's been your most memorable moment so far?
Ooh, I feel like it's more of like the little things. So like any time that like we would all get to like travel together or like go somewhere like as a band, like for example, when we were doing like the rock off stuff at the Hall of Fame, we would all pile into Ryan's van and take the drive to Cleveland. And then we just hang out at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And what's funny is we had been there so many times for this competition that everybody else who would like come see us or other people who were there would be like walking around, like looking at like all the stuff in like the museum. And we would literally be on the third floor in the theater that nobody goes into, just taking a nap. Like all of us were just laying in the chairs, taking a nap because we were like, nobody goes in this theater and we can lay down and eat pizza and take a nap in here. And that's like what we would do like during the day. We would order like the worst pizza ever. And we would get it every time, even though it was bad. And we'd just hang out all day. But it's like,
is it really that bad though? Sorry to cut you off again.
No, you're good. It was really bad pizza. I'm pretty sure the restaurant like is gone. Like it's not there.
Oh my God.
I think we were the only thing keeping them alive because we would just order like 5 pizzas like when we were at the Rock Off like once a year. That was it.
Oh well.
Yeah.
That was I've only been to Ohio like once, and that was in Akron. I've never had their pizza, but if you're saying it's that bad, then that's a no for me.
It was just the one restaurant. It was just this one. Okay. The only place we would get it from.
Okay. Well, let me tell you this, though. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is still on my bucket list. I will be going there soon enough. So fingers crossed on that one. But I actually want to go over to those rock-off performances there at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. When you first heard about the opportunity, what were you guys thinking?
We were actually too young when we first heard about it. So we first heard about this, and it's because like there were other like rock schools going, because there's like a rock school, it's not actually that name, but like a rock school in Cleveland who was doing these too. And I don't know how Ryan found out about it, and I have no clue how he heard about it or like how that happened. But we actually performed for like 2 years before we were even old enough to like actually compete in the competition, because you had to have half of your members be in high school. So when we were finally old enough, me and Matt still weren't even in high school the first year we won. But all of our other band members, since they're older than us, were in high school. So like we finally like qualified that year, and that was like the first year that we won. But I have no clue how Ryan found out about it. And it jumped around to like a few different locations, like before it ended up at the Hall of Fame. Like we played 1 year at like the House of Blues in Cleveland, and that one was actually super fun. And then it ended up moving to the Hall of Fame, and then we just kept going there every single year.
And now you guys have won that championship back-to-back years. I think 2015 and 16, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah.
It's really, really crazy. I remember we were talking about that also the first time that you guys were on. And I remember like I think Sam was the one that had like a completely different experience from the rest of you, because he was in another band at the time.
Yeah, he was not
an original member. I'm sorry, what was that?
Yeah, he was not in our band at the time.
But yeah, he had a completely different experience. But going off of that, how did you guys end up meeting Sam?
So we actually had known Sam that whole time.
Okay.
So Sam joined that other rock school band right around the same time that like First to 11 started. Cool. So he had been in Jack's mom for like, or taking guitar lessons and stuff for like just as long. But he just wasn't in our band. He was just in the other band that was basically like running parallel to like how our band formed.
Right.
So it was like pretty much the same thing. And he just was like, there, we used to do these things at the rock school when we were younger that they would just be rock school shows. So every band in the rock school would come to this one venue and we would each play like 3 or 5 songs or something. And it would be like a whole concert of just all rock school kids. So we had always known Sam, but then he just didn't actually join the band until later.
The origin story of Sam Gilman.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. But anyway, but going back to First to 11 here, like I said before, 1.5 million subscribers, a lot of success, 6 years on YouTube. What, in your opinion, has been the best song you guys have covered and the hardest song you guys have covered?
Ooh, I think me and Matt were actually talking about this the other day. I think the best overall, like all around cover that we've done is our collab with Brooke, the Hey There Delilah collab.
Oh man, I love that one.
Yeah, just because we were able to like Ryan and like everybody who like worked on the music for that one, like when they all were working on it, like we're able to change it enough to make it sound like we were going for like more of like a folk style because Brooke does like that kind of music. And we hadn't ever done that before. But I think it like came together so well. And I love singing with Brooke and we just like work together very well. And it's nice because with all of our other collabs, obviously those are like so fun too, but they're all in different places. But when we do a collab with Brooke, we're all in the studio together. So it's more of like a very like actually like collaborative process where like me and her sat down together and recorded the vocals together and figured out every harmony together. And it like makes it like that much more fun and just like that much better of like a collab because you actually get to like work with like the person that you're doing it with. And like obviously since we've known Brooke for so long, it's so easy for us all to work together that we end up doing like really cool stuff when we collab together.
Right. Yeah. Going off of and by the way, yeah, I do agree. You and Brooke's voices blend tremendously together. That's what makes that cover so amazing, in my opinion. But going off on your collaborations, I know the people that you have collaborated the most with are Addie from Halocene, Violet, and Lauren. Shout outs to them, by the way. I know you guys have been really, really good friends with them for a long time. How did you guys first come across them?
So, Halocene was actually our first ever collab, like ever. Addie, I think they actually reached out to us on YouTube. I can't remember like who reached out to who, but Addie actually flew from Arizona to Pennsylvania and like came to the studio and did the first collab with us. That was New Rules. And then after we had seen, like we had done a few more collabs with them since they really started like reaching out to other people. And then when they started doing other collabs and stuff, like we did too. So like after we did their collab, we reached out to Lauren and we did a collab with her. And then Halocene saw that we collabed with Lauren and then they were like, we should collab with Lauren. And it just kind of turned into like this big like circle. And then they reached out to Violet. And when we saw that, we were like, oh my gosh, we should do one with the 4 of us. And that's where we came up with the idea to do the Queen song. So I reached out to the 4 of them and I was like, hey guys, like we have this idea. We want to do Somebody to Love, but we want to have everybody on it. And then Addie was like, well, if you guys do Somebody to Love, can we do Bohemian Rhapsody? And then we can just do like a double, like back to back, like Queen collab. And we were like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, that would be awesome.
There you go.
But yeah, they're like our go-tos. Like anytime we need somebody and we're like, oh, we need a lot of voices like for this, we need to do a song with like a ton of people on it, we're always just like, hey guys, like you guys want to sing on this? And like now we've like broadened our circle of collabs so much that we've done stuff with like Anthony, and like we reach out to other people beyond like those 3, and like the 4 of us obviously still love to collab together, but when other people see our collabs, they're like, that's really cool. Like, and then we just keep like reaching out to more and more. So we have some really cool like collabs coming up the rest of this year that we're pretty excited about too.
Yeah, note to self, come collab with us. Okay, loud and clear. But anyway, so I want to discuss you personally for just a second here, because let's face it, we live in a world where there aren't that many female fronted rock bands, which is a travesty in my opinion. So for you personally, what does it mean for you to be the front woman of a highly successful band, of actually two bands, one cover band and in Concrete Castle? So what does it mean to you to be a front woman of a band? And what would you say to the younger girls who may be watching this right now who want to do this for a living?
I think a lot of my answer actually comes down to that. And it's like I was inspired by a lot of those female fronted like Paramore, like Paris, huge inspirations for me. So when I think about like myself in a band like this, in that position, I
Mm-hmm.
just want to do the same thing that like those bands did for me. Because if it wasn't for like listening to Paramore, like when I joined the band, I don't think I ever would have even like been able to transition into like singing like rock music or like heavier music, because when I
Right.
grew up, I listened to country music and I listened to what was on the radio, and I never really listened to anything else. And I think like all the guys helped out with that a lot too. If they were like, "Hey, we want to do a cover of this song," and I was like, "I've never heard that song before, but it's really cool." Like, and just have been introduced to so many female fronted rock bands that kind of inspired me, and that's exactly what I want to do for kids who are younger and who are watching us on YouTube, or like my students who come in to take lessons and they're like, "Yeah, I like found out about you guys because I watched your YouTube channel and like I wanted to take like
Right.
voice lessons," and then I get to teach them. Like it's just very like full circle moment, and I think that's like the coolest part about it.
No, I agree, because you look at some of the female fronted bands today. I mean, there are plenty of them, but like I said, there's just not enough in my opinion. But the ones that you do have, Paramore, like you mentioned, you have Hailstorm, you have Evanescence, one of my
Mhm.
all-time favorites. You have the Go-Go's, you have all these other different female fronted bands, and then you have the all female bands. Like I said, the Go-Go's being one of them, and
Yeah.
Fanny, one of the first female rock bands ever, was formed in the late 1960s. So I think it's really, really fascinating that you see these female fronted bands and to be like, oh wow, maybe there can be a significant difference
Mhm.
if people just like accept these women for how talented they are and what they can bring to the table. Is that something that you have ever thought about personally?
Yeah, I think there's a huge like stigma in like rock music where it was all guys, everything. And I
Right.
mean there still is in like the music industry, like all like writers and producers, like 90% of writers and producers are not females.
Mm-hmm.
And I luckily have been able to work with like a few female writers and have had the best time. But same with like our producers for our Concrete Castles album, like John and Steven, they're also amazing producers and writers.
Right.
But it is weird to think like there's not that many like women who want to go into like the music industry and do that kind of stuff. And I think it is like there's not a lot of there hasn't been a lot of room for like female fronted bands in rock music in the past, and I think it's completely changing now. Even you just think about all the people that we have collabed with, like the big four were all female fronted rock bands, basically. Lauren, Addie, Violet, like all of us.
Mm-hmm.
So it is cool, and especially in like the YouTube community, to see like how many like bands there are who have like their rock band, but they have like a female fronted, like female vocalist.
Mm-hmm. No, it's very, very fascinating stuff, and I wish, me personally, I wish there were more female-fronted rock bands. That's just me personally, because it would really make a difference in the world. So now, you mentioned Concrete Castle, so let's discuss that. A brand new original project that just got started. Super, super exciting stuff. You guys have already released 3 singles that have, I don't know how many views and counting, but it's a lot. I can promise you that. Just a Friend, Porcelain, and Half Awake. Those are the 3 singles that are out right now, and you guys obviously have an album coming out very, very soon, which is obviously disclosed right now. So it's gonna have to wait a little bit longer, but it's gonna be worth the wait. But what made you guys decide to start this original project?
So we kind of started our covers channel as a way to introduce people to our original songs. And we kind of got on like the covers train, and we were just like, wow, this is going really well. And we just kept going and kept going. And because of that, when we played at the Hall of Fame, we got a spot on Warped Tour, and we played a date on Warped Tour. While we were at Warped Tour, we met our now manager of Concrete Castles. We were introduced to him by Kevin Lyman, who was the one who was like in charge of like the whole Warped Tour. He was like ran the Warped Tour, and they're actually really good friends still. Like Sam and Matt like saw Kevin like the last time we were in like LA or something. But that's how we met Michael, who's our manager now. And after he heard us there, he followed our covers channel and was like following us. And he reached out to me and he was like, hey, would you be interested in like coming to California to like write some songs? And I was like, yeah, like sure. And I was like, I don't know, like 16 or 17 or something. So my parents came with me. It was the first time I've ever been to LA, and we wrote Thrill, and then we put Thrill out.
Just a little known track in case you're wondering.
Yeah, just in case. So we put Thrill out, and a few years later, our now head of our label and our booking agent, Dave, found Thrill and was watching it, and he was like, this is awesome. And he reached out to us over email, and we ignored him because we thought that his booking agency was fake. Yeah, because it had so many artists on it that we loved that we were like, there's no way this is real. So Ryan reached out to one of his friends who was like listed on there. He was in one of the bands. And I reached out to Michael and I was like, do you know who this guy is? Like, who is Dave? And he was like, you need to answer him. Like,
oh my gosh.
So full circle story, Dave and Michael were roommates in college and they are best friends. So Dave didn't know that Michael is the one who sent me out to write Thrill, and he just happened to stumble upon it. And then they were like, wait a second, what if we worked together and managed and signed this band and booked their tours together? And then we were like, okay, that sounds like a good idea. And that's like kind of how that whole thing like happened. Like it just was like very coincidental that like Dave, who just happened to be Michael's like best friend, stumbled upon Thrill, the song that Michael brought me out to write, and then they just like connected about us, and then ta-da, Concrete Castles was formed.
Wow, that really is a fascinating story.
And it's you so guys, but
yeah, and you guys actually had you had your first show as Concrete Castles recently. It was in here in New Jersey in Atlantic City, and I had the honor of seeing you guys. It was tremendous. You guys absolutely killed it. No, of course. And I really do hope you guys come back to the area sometime, because it will be awesome to see you guys again. But how did it feel to be on stage again, A, for the first time in over a year because of the pandemic and everything, and B, to be on there as a new original band?
It was crazy. I think the weirdest part for us was the amount of time, because when we play cover shows, we play like 3 to 4 hours worth of music, like the whole entire show. But when you play original stuff, you play like 30 to 45 minutes, like max. And we were like, this is awesome. Like we don't have to play 4 hours of a show.
Right.
But it's even more exciting because you're not just playing cover music, you're playing like your own music, which is like a whole different like experience. And a lot of the songs that we played there haven't even come out yet, which was
Right.
like even more exciting. But it was
Mhm.
it was cool to see like when we played like Just a Friend or like Half Awake, like you could see people like singing along to it, and we were like,
Yeah.
man, like they know this song, like they've been listening to it, that it's been out, like they know it. And it's weird because we're kind of like on our YouTube channel trapped in this little internet bubble where like we haven't been able to do anything, mostly because of, you know, the past year being insane.
Oh yeah.
um but it's been a while since we've actually gotten to go play out and like talk to people and like see how people respond to our music in a live setting. So it's really cool to like kind of see that again for like the first time in a while.
Yeah, no, it just felt nice to see people again at a
I
live show for
know.
the first time in a year and a half. It was really, really cool. But yeah, you pretty much played almost your entire full-length debut album, which is coming out very, very soon. I don't want to get too much into that because I know it's still undisclosed information right now. So we're just gonna leave that alone. But I know you guys have super, super exciting stuff coming out with Concrete Castles. I know you have another single coming out very, very soon, which is going to be very, very exciting stuff. I think I have a guess on what it is, but I'm not going to say it here because I don't want to give anything away. But very, very exciting stuff coming up with Concrete Castles. If you aren't, go subscribe to their YouTube channel, and please go subscribe to First 11 as well if you have not done so already. Speaking of subscribing and speaking of YouTube, you have your own personal YouTube channel. What made you want to start your own?
So I wanted to do something kind of like big and exciting when I hit 100,000 followers on Instagram. So
Okay,
I was
cool.
like brainstorming all this stuff and like couldn't really come up with anything that I liked. And Matt was like, you should just start a YouTube channel. And I was like, what? I don't know how to do this. Like, obviously we make YouTube videos all the time, but it's not that kind of YouTube video. And
Mhm.
I was like, I have nothing that I can even like shoot these with. Like, I have no equipment. I have no clue how to use anything. I don't know how to do this. And he was like, well, I'll just help you until you like know how to do it on your own, and I'll like teach you how to do it. And I was like, okay.
There you
So
go.
I posted, and I was like on the First to 11 YouTube channel like community page. And I was like, Audra's so close to hitting 100,000. Like, she has a really big surprise when she hits it. That day, I hit 100,000 on Instagram because I posted on the YouTube channel, and I was like, oh my God, I have to like announce a YouTube channel right now. So
Wow.
we literally, so my idea for the channel was 100 questions for 100K. And that was the first video I did. And Matt and I literally stayed up till like 3 a.m. the night before, created the whole channel, got everything ready, then got up the next morning, came in at like 10, shot the whole entire video. He edited the whole thing that day, and it came out Friday. So like it was
Wow.
like a span of 3 days. Like hit 100,000 on Wednesday, did everything else on Thursday, video came out on Friday, and like that's how quick it was. So I just kind of got like thrown into it, and I was like, I just have to learn how to do this now. Um, so I was like using like our old First to 11 like cameras and stuff that we used when we first started shooting videos. But I was like,
Mhm.
these are like the most annoying things ever to like carry around and like use, because I would have to drag everything home from the studio and then unpack it all, bring it all back the next day. And I was like, this sucks. I don't want to do this. So after I was like, okay, I really like am enjoying this. Like I wanna get my own stuff and like be able to just do this on my own. I just bought everything I needed for my channel, and just now I just have it here. So it's way easier for me to shoot videos, and I like know what I'm doing now, and now I know how to like edit them and color correct them and like do everything that I need to do, and I just do it all by myself.
That's crazy how that happened in a short period of time.
I
I mean,
know.
that really is. Whew, I mean, it just flew by like this. I mean,
Yeah,
damn.
I
Like, where
know.
is it all going?
Yeah, I was expecting at least like a few days like notice. No, it literally was that day. And I was like, man, what am I gonna do?
Whoops. Well, now what? No,
Yeah.
but your first video, your 100 questions for 100K video was very, very fascinating. But I gotta be real. some of these questions that people ask, just like, I mean, like, why? Like, why are you even? How do you deal with some of these questions you get asked? I don't understand. Like, do people have nothing else better to do with their lives? Like, how do you deal with this on a daily basis?
Our like group chat with like me, Violet, Addie, and Lauren, just like we were always just like, if you want to start a YouTube channel or like you want to do anything on the internet, just be prepared.
Yep.
And that's basically
yeah, pretty much.
That's all you can say about it. Just be prepared. Like that's it. That's the truth.
Short, sweet, and to the point. I like it. So let's have a little bit more fun here. I recently saw one of your more recent videos on your YouTube about Marvel, because I know that you and your brother Ryan are huge
Obsessed.
Marvel fans.
Yeah.
I know Iron Man's your all-time favorite. Robert Downey Jr. is tremendous. So I would ask you to make a top 5 list of Marvel movies right now, but that'd be too much pressure. So instead, other than Iron Man,
okay,
what is your favorite?
I think, I have 2. I'll go between 2. Either Endgame, obviously.
Yes.
Or
that's my number 1 as of right now.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. Or there's like 2 of the other Avengers movies. I like the Avengers movies a lot because I like when like they're all together. But there's like a tie for the next 2 because I can't decide. I either like Civil War or Age of Ultron. Age of Ultron is like one of my favorite ones. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, with me, it's crazy because I love the Avengers. The first Avengers movie was great. Loved it.
So good. I love that one.
Absolutely. Second one to me was okay. It wasn't bad. I didn't hate it, but to me it was okay.
Yeah.
Not really huge on it, but it was all right. Infinity War, I mean, what more can you say about that? I mean, Infinity War was tremendous. And then Endgame, I mean, talk about a dramatic ending to a franchise like that. It's just unbelievable.
I know.
But so to me, just Age of Ultron was it wasn't anything special to me, in my opinion. I just thought it was like drawn out all over the place. That's just me personally, but it was still watchable. It was tolerable to me. I enjoyed it.
I love the introduction of Wanda.
Okay, no, that was really good.
Wanda and Vision, like when they come up in that movie, I'm like, yeah. I love that. They're like my favorite. They're like some of my favorite characters. So that's my reasoning.
No, I totally get that. Hey, that's your opinion. I respect it. But listen, as far as mine go, I mean, Endgame I mentioned. I loved Iron Man 3. I don't know what about it I loved. It was just really, really good. Oh my God, what else was there? Black Panther's another really good one. God rest Chadwick Boseman's poor soul. That's a real shame what happened.
I know.
I'm really curious to see how they're gonna pull off the second one though. I'm just like he's not here. It's like, what are you gonna do?
I know.
I'm very, very curious.
Which I'll ask you a question now.
Sure.
Which new movie that they've like announced are you most excited for?
Oh, you gotta be kidding.
That's
so
a tough
many. There's so many. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's a tough one. I want to say Black Widow. I'm actually really, really curious about that one. I know it's supposed to be like a prequel to like how Scarlett Johansson first came about to be in the Marvel universe, but at the same time, I'm also like, you couldn't have released this like maybe before Avengers? Like, I know. Come on now.
It comes out. Doesn't it come out like tomorrow?
I think so. Like in theaters and also on Disney Plus. At the time of this recording, it's July 8th, so it comes out July 9th. Yeah. So I mean, if you are curious like us, I mean, if you have Disney Plus, it's on there with I think premium access right now.
Yeah, you just like buy it or something.
Yeah, but if you want to go see it in theaters, by all means, go nuts. I ain't gonna stop you, but. That's the one I am curious. I'm also curious about Black Panther 2, obviously. Yeah. What else was there? I'm not too huge on it, but the new Doctor Strange movie sounds fascinating. I didn't really like the first one, to be honest.
I didn't either.
No, you didn't either. Okay.
No, Ryan, my brother loves Doctor Strange. Like that's like one of his favorites, and it's just not one of mine. But
Yeah, no, I gotcha. But yeah, if I'm interested in any of the newer ones, it's those three in particular. I'm very very curious. But as far as like the other ones are concerned, I mean, man, this is really really it's tough to pick just one to like, you know.
I know.
But I said Endgame, I said Black Panther, Iron Man 3, the first Iron Man I really really love too.
I love that.
What was the other one I was thinking of? Thor Ragnarok was another really really
Oh
good one,
yeah, I love that one.
which is probably my favorite Thor movie ever.
Oh yeah, the first two Thor movies, I was like about to fall asleep during those. Not gonna lie. I
more
love
more,
the new
more so the
one, but
second one with me because the second one is like the worst one ever.
what is that? The whatever the shadow things are, whatever. Isn't that? I don't even know.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that movie in the first 5 minutes.
Oh yeah. That is probably the worst one ever.
No, it's terrible. I mean, Incredible Hulk was okay. Wasn't anything special to me, in my opinion. It was just okay. But I mean, the whole laundry list of Captain Marvel, I also really really love. I don't understand like all the hate that it's
Me
gotten.
neither.
I loved it. I
Yeah.
loved Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Brie Larson. Oh my God, Brie Larson is such a badass. I love her. She's just
I
like,
love
oh
Brie
my
Larson.
gosh. Like, I mean, I'm also curious to see what they do with the new Captain Marvel movie too. That's another one I'm curious about.
Yeah.
But there's so much to dissect with Marvel. It's not even funny. I mean, I'm not gonna mention the other comic book company, but we'll just keep but no, in all seriousness though, look, Marvel's fantastic. I mean, the first Marvel movie I ever watched was I think was Iron Man 2.
Oh wow.
I wasn't introduced to the first one until like I think like a few years after I saw the second one, because I had no idea what was going on. I was a kid at the time. I didn't know any better. I didn't know what was going on. But after I saw the first one, I was like, oh, so this is how this is linked to this plot. I'm like, okay, now it all starts to make sense. There you go. But no, like now I'm curious about you. What new Marvel movies are you curious about?
I think I'm probably most excited for the new Thor one.
Oh my God, yes.
Thor,
yes.
what is it called? Like Love and
Thunder.
Love and Thunder, yeah. I'm excited for that one. And the Ant-Man one.
The new Ant-Man and the Wasp movie?
Yeah, it's like Ant-Man, like whatever, it's like Quantum Mania or something, I think.
I think that's it. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I like Paul Rudd and I like the Ant-Man movies, so I feel like I'm excited. I'm gonna be excited for this.
Yeah, no, yeah, there you go. But yeah, that wraps up our Marvel discussion. So if you're curious about that, go check out the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, if you haven't watched all the movies by now, I mean, what the heck is wrong with you? You should be right now. Audra and I are encouraging, go binge watch all of them.
Go watch them.
We'll wait.
It's the best thing you'll ever do.
No, seriously though, we'll wait.
One eternity later.
Okay, time's up. Anyway, no, seriously though, go check them out. We promise you it'll be worth your time. So, unfortunately, speaking of time, it's almost coming to a close. But before we wrap things up, is there any other exciting announcements that you want to share as far as First to 11 and Concrete Castles?
No, actually, I think we about covered everything, which is crazy.
Interesting. Okay. Because like I said before, I know the new stuff with Concrete Castles is currently like undisclosed right now, so that's gonna have to wait a little bit longer. But
there will be a lot of stuff.
Yes, no, there will. And again, your new original album's coming out very, very soon, and I know that you have a lot of stuff going on with your YouTube channel, but just give the people an idea of how they can find out more about First to 11 Concrete Castles and you personally.
Yeah. So for First 11, you can go to all of our social media pages. Everything is just First to 11, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Concrete Castles, same thing. Our YouTube channel is just Concrete Castles. That's where all of our original stuff is. And same for all of our other handles. And then my YouTube channel is just Audra Miller. If you search it, hopefully it comes up. There's not a lot of people named Audra on YouTube, so it's actually not as hard as you would think. And you can follow all of my social medias as well. They're all just on my YouTube channel too, so you can just click through there. But everything is just audra.mllr.
There you go. And yeah, look, listen, I feel you. There's not that many people with the last name Finizzi around.
I
these
know.
parts. The only place you're gonna find that is Italy, which is my heritage. So, and by the way, I want to go to Italy so freaking bad. You have no idea. It's been on my bucket list for years. I just want to see my family down there, you know?
Yeah.
I want to find out more about my heritage.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah, and plus the food there, come on now. I mean,
Oh yeah. How could you not?
I mean, who doesn't want like authentic, like actual authentic Italian food? And no, I'm not talking about Olive Garden if you're thinking that. Anyway. But no, seriously, this was an absolutely fun interview. Audra, I can't thank you enough for coming back on and doing this. I truly appreciate you, my friend. Much love, and you're always welcome back anytime.
Yeah, thank you for having me. No, I was excited. I'm excited to be on the new series of the Bottom Line podcast.
No, you kidding. It's absolutely our pleasure. And Neil and Mr. Taco give their regards as well. So But no, seriously, this was so much fun. Thank you again, Audra. You're always welcome back on anytime. Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
No, of course. She is Audra Miller of First to 11 and Concrete Castles. Please make sure you go subscribe to all of their social medias, especially Audra's YouTube channel and all of her social media as well. And make sure you subscribe to us as well if you haven't done so. As always, drop a like and a comment down below if you are watching on YouTube, and hit subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss an episode. And subscribe on all audio platforms as well. Just include Jimmy when searching for this podcast. Stay tuned for more guest announcements for the one-on-one series on the Bottom Line podcast within the next couple of weeks. For Audra Miller, I'm Jimmy Finizzi. This is the Bottom Line podcast, and we will see you in the next episode. Peace and take care.